Starts with the Vision, episode 103.
Hey, visionaries! You are now tuned in to the Starts with a Vision podcast, where everything you do in life starts with a vision. If your vision is clear or foggy, you are in the right place. It's time to go take what's yours, because there's a vision only you can see, and a dream only you can dream. And now, your host, Mr. Starts with a Vision.
I only want to work with people who's as passionate about life as I am. What's up, guys? It's Mr. Starts with a Vision. Let me just say really quick, thank you. Let me express that gratitude. Thank you for listening to the show. Look, we have an amazing guest on the line today. I'm super excited to bring him to you. His name is Jaspreet Singh. He is the owner of Minority Mindset, which is a brand. It's not even just a business. It's a brand, and he's doing his thing. He's killing with it. He has a YouTube channel, and before that, he's had businesses that he's going to talk about on this episode. But what I like about Jaspreet is he's so humble, and when we were interviewing, I could feel the energy of his humility, and I could feel his authenticity. Like when he was talking. And I'm just really grateful that he was able to get on and share his knowledge and wisdom. So I want everybody to pay attention to what he's saying on this interview, because it's not just some fluff. It's not just talk. This is real stuff. And it could really, really not only add value to your life, but it could really change your life if you take what he says and apply it to your life. So without further ado, guys, we have Jaspreet Singh of the Minority Mindset. I know you're going to enjoy this episode. So let me know what you think. Let him know what you think. If he impacted your life, reach out to him and let him know. Enjoy the show. What is going on, visionaries, entrepreneurs, and everybody else wanting to start a business? We have an amazing guest on the show today. We have Jaspreet Singh, founder of the Minority Mindset. What's going on?
What's up, everybody? Hey, man, thank you for having me.
Hey, I appreciate your time as well. It took us a minute to get this whole thing situated.
It's all good, man. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for this.
Hey, I love your energy, man, on your videos.
Thanks, man. It's always hard to get into character when it comes time.
Right. How do you do it? Like, what's your process or your?
You want to know my secret?
Yeah. What's the secret sauce?
All right. So here's what I do. Real talk. So first thing I do is I drink a glass of green tea, and then I listen to some music right before I start. But it's always emotional music. I think one of my main hype up songs is actually "Hate It or Love It," 50 Cent The Game, and that it's a deep song. And there's a lot of emotions in there too. And that just gets me excited, angry, all at one time. And then just go out there and do it. That's my honest secret. I haven't told anybody that before.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Well, I appreciate it. And how many videos on YouTube are you doing a week?
We do 2 videos a week, Wednesdays and Fridays.
Okay, cool. So everybody listening that doesn't know you, I know you have a booming YouTube channel and an Instagram, but let everybody know who you are first and foremost, because I'm really intrigued by what you're doing, and I just love the message that you're spreading.
Sure, yeah. So again, my name is Jaspreet Singh. I got a YouTube channel, or I have a brand called Minority Mindset. And so we're a social media-based platform, pretty much just to motivate, teach, and inspire people and entrepreneurs to do what they want in life, because we only live once. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not following me on YouTube yet, check out the Minority Mindset channel on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. And our whole premise is, again, it's just helping entrepreneurs or people who want to do something different with their lives do it, because I never really grew up with that support. And so this is my way of teaching people what I wish I knew when I was getting started, and giving people that support that I never had. And, a lot of people, first time they hear that name, they think, oh, Minority Mindset, that means you got to look a certain way or whatever. No, that's not the case. Mm-hmm. The Minority Mindset is a mindset. It has nothing to do with your race, your background, your color, your ethnicity, none of that. What I always tell people is, if you give the majority $200, they'll come back with a pair of shoes. Mm. But if you give the minority $200, they'll come back with $2,000, right? It's that mindset.
Right. And that's just a small portion of society is going to do. And that's why you started it, right?
Exactly. It's for people that think different.
Right. And you said you didn't have the support that you wish you would have had. So talk about a little bit, how you grew up in the sense of the mindset and what you should do as when you grow up?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I wish I had it, because it was a big motivator for me to succeed because I didn't have it. So, but I mean, my family comes from a small state in India called Punjab. And so, one, we didn't come with my family didn't come with a whole bunch of resources, but they came here to a new country where they didn't speak the language, they didn't have much money, just trying to build themselves up, and they had these traditional Indian values. And so, they wanted me to be a doctor since I was young. They were like, all right, our son's going to be a doctor. Half of our state, Punjab, knew that, hey, Jaspreet's going to be a doctor when he grows up. So throughout my whole life, I was always told, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a doctor. Well, I've always kind of had the entrepreneurial spirit in me. When I was in elementary school, I was a paper boy. I was cutting people's lawns for $10 a cut. I was doing all of this. And then in high school, my senior year in high school was the first time I really exposed myself to business, where I had an internship with a very successful entrepreneur and businessman. And that just kind of like really opened my mind. And then from there, I started reading. Then I started doing more business ventures. But as I was starting these business ventures, I couldn't tell anything to my parents, because if they found out that I was doing business or whatever, they weren't going to be happy. They weren't going to approve of it. So it was always like this dichotomy. I always had like these two lives I was living. One was, when my parents thought I was studying and doing all this. I mean, I studied hard. I worked hard in school. But at the same time, I was focusing so much on my businesses. So, that was hard. And then when I told my parents that I wasn't going to be a doctor, it was a wrap. It was a riot. Yeah, it didn't go too well. So
how'd you fight against the regular way of thinking?
Oh man, people ask me all the time, are entrepreneurs born, or can you learn it? Can you learn to be an entrepreneur? I think part of it is both. And so I think I was luckily just born a little bit with this entrepreneurship bug. Mm-hmm. I always kind of had this mentality. Even when I used to go to Chuck E. Cheese back when I was young, I used to take half the tickets I would make and keep them later, or keep them in my drawer so I could buy something bigger and only spend half. So it's just that thinking is something I kind of always had. Not sure what really pushed me into it, but yeah. And then from there, as I started to learn, I started to see there's a real big difference between, the way I say the majority thinks and the few minority people think.
Absolutely. And so before social media, as far as having a social media based brand, what were you doing before? Talk about some of your business ventures.
Man, so actually, I didn't never really like social media. I was always against social media. Uh-huh. So my first business I started was actually in a event planning business. And this was when I was 17. I just started college. And so I started hosting. I wasn't into partying or any of that, but all my friends, they're always going out Friday, Saturdays, just blowing all this money. And I was like, what, let me do something different. So instead of going to the parties, I started hosting parties. Ooh. So I started going to the different clubs in the, college. I started working out deals where I would bring people there, and then I would charge cover. And at that time, I started college in 2009, 2010, around that time. And I wasn't big on social media, and social media wasn't even that big then. And so, how did I do it is what I call guerrilla marketing. I was out there doing it. I would print 5,000 flyers for each event, pass them out on the streets. Like I would have promoters, I would call them, and I'd have them standing on different corners of campus, passing out flyers, doing this. So it was just going out there and, literally getting people to do something. So that's how it started. Then from there, I had a couple of different business ventures, and eventually I started to move towards the internet. When I started Five Water Socks, my last business, which was a product-based business that I developed and created, and I started off by selling that online, and that was really my first real experience online. I did have a small Amazon business before, but this was a real experience online.
Okay, and so the event planning business was more service-based, right?
Service-based, yeah, we did.
Talk a little bit about, because I'm interested, and this question just popped up in my mind, but talk about the difference between service-based and product-based business and what your favorite is.
Oh, man. So, I get this question a lot, actually. There's really not too much difference. So I talk about how to build a business. It's 4 steps to build a profitable business. The first step is to get traffic. Second is to funnel your traffic. Third, to remarket your traffic, to build trust. And fourth is to make a product offer and have multiple different product offers. So the only thing that's really different between a service-based business and a digital business is the way you're really driving traffic into your business. Because on a digital business, you're trying to get people off the internet, from Google, Facebook, social media, all of that. But service-based, let me rephrase this. So you can get traffic either way, but what you're selling is a little bit different, because in service-based, you have to sit there and actually do the work, right? I mean, you're hosting an event, you're got to give your hourly fee with your whatever work you're doing or whatever it is. Versus digital, ideally you have a product that you can sell without having to physically create it again and again and again. I mean, not saying that e-commerce is service. Like, for example, I have socks, right? The sock-based business. I have to continually create them, but I'm not sitting here working, to make the socks every single day. I have manufacturer to do that, so I can sell as many socks as possible. I'm not limited to 5 socks an hour, as opposed to service-based. You can only work 24 hours a day. What's my favorite? A blend of both.
So just having the both components within one company per se.
Yes, understanding how to blend the two together, because what a lot of businesses end up doing is they focus on selling a product as opposed to building a brand. And so the importance is actually to build a brand. Whatever your niche is, have a brand around that, and your product is one spoke in what I call the business wheel, right? You have different spokes on wheels, and so your products are one spoke, and then your service could be an additional premium spoke where you offer your digital product, whatever it is, and then if somebody wants more, you can offer a service at a premium.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. And so when you started Minority Mindset, the whole brand, what was the vision in the beginning?
Oh man, I had no idea. So the reason I started this was actually because during my launch of 5 Water Socks, I got scammed during the launch.
Ooh,
yeah. So I was launching through Kickstarter, which is a crowdfunding platform. And so before I launched, there was a marketing company. They said they were a marketing company who said they can give me a whole bunch of sales and all this other stuff, maybe these huge promises. And I was like, all right, well, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't happen? They're like, well, don't worry. We have 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. I was like, okay, I like the way this sounds. So I gave these guys a lot of money. And one day after giving them the money, I had a really bad feeling in my gut. Like, this is literally 24 hours after giving them the money.
Right.
And so I called the guy. I was like, hey, you know what? How's everything going? Whatever. He's like, no, we haven't really started yet. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, you know what? Let's just cancel. Let's just refund the money, because I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. I'd rather do it myself. He's like, okay, no problem. Puts me on hold for 15 minutes. And I was in the gym at the time. Like, I was in between sets. So I was getting really irritated because he had me on hold for so long. And then all of a sudden the ringer, it goes to that ding, like the busy dial tone. I was like, oh no. So I called him back, and I started going to that "this number cannot be found" message.
What?
So I called an attorney, found out I was scammed. They weren't a real business. It was a fake company. And so that really irritated me. Yeah. But even though I spent a lot of my marketing budget to this guy who I just lost, the money just disappeared. In the first month of starting the business during our launch, we sold over $21,000 worth of socks. And that does not include any of the wholesale orders or distribution orders. So from there, I was like, there's a lot of honest entrepreneurs out there that just want to, kind of follow their dreams and do something different. And, it sucks getting screwed over. So that was my whole idea for starting Minority Mindset. I hadn't, really no other vision. And so the first thing I did actually was I created a class. I created a class called, how to launch a business or something like that. And I just put this class up, and I charged $245 for it, or something like that. And then, we had over 1,100 people enroll in the class, and I had an amazing response. I ended up taking the class down because the platform I hosted the class on was struggling. So I don't want my brand to go down with the name. So I just shut that down. But as I did that, I kind of did everything as this is my minority mindset class or whatever. I didn't really know what minority mindset was going to be.
Right.
But from there, I was just like, hey, this is kind of cool. I'm liking working with entrepreneurs because everybody loved the class. Like our lowest rating was 4 stars, 4 to 5 stars. Mm-hmm. So from there, I just started an Instagram page, and then people started loving the content. And then I was like, hey, this is cool. But, I wanted a way to kind of interact with people more. That's how I got into YouTube. So, I kind of just grew like that. I didn't really have much vision for minority mindset. It just kind of happened.
But that's good though. And so when you said you started the class, it wasn't offline, right? So it was all online?
It was all online.
Okay. Was it like a monthly subscription type, or was
it one time? One time.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, say again. I think I cut.
Oh, no, I said it was a one-time payment?
Yeah, it was a one-time payment. That's it.
Okay, so you started it and you really didn't even have like, oh, this is the minority mindset. It was just kind of like, I just did this because of what had happened.
Right, exactly.
And then you started to move and progress towards there.
Yeah, and it just kept growing.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up, man. And so how did you manage to get 1,100 students? And previously, were you online before that or not?
Well, the socks was my first online kind of presence, right?
Okay.
And then from there, I actually piggybacked on some publicity that I was getting. So with Five Water Socks, we were getting a lot of press. We were getting TV interviews, magazine features, newspaper articles. We were going all over the world with like media, so it was going really good. And so I had the idea for this class because, as soon as I launched, I got scammed. And so I started having this idea to do this class. And so when the press started coming in, I talk about the socks. But then at the same time, I say, hey, you know what? I'm teaching people how to do this. You can check out the class here. And that's kind of how it went.
Okay.
So
because I think there's a common misconception. Just listening to it and saying, hey, I got scammed, I did this, but we made X amount of dollars, and then I did this, and we had 1,100 students. I mean, I know there's more into that, and that's what I wanted to share because I don't want people thinking that they can just do one thing and then do something. Oh,
yeah.
They can make money. You know what I mean?
No. This is why a lot of people get scammed by these get-rich-quick schemes, man. That was a big thing why I started Minority Mindset, too, is because I fell into that trap a lot of times. Mm-hmm. All these people, you know what? Yeah, you can make a lot of money on the internet. You can make a lot of money starting these things, but it doesn't happen overnight. It takes, months, if not years of grinding to kind of build a presence or do anything. To get any sort of... Nobody becomes successful on accident. Nobody builds a big following on accident. Nobody makes a bunch of sales on accident. Mm-hmm. Nobody can get viral on accident. There's like a whole science of building up, progressing, and to do this. There's very few people that can do that. And so, anybody who sits there and says, yeah, you can work 6 hours a week on your beach without having a product, without doing anything, and you can make 7 figures a month, they're out of their mind, or you're out of your mind if you try to buy that.
Right. Because it takes a lot of work, right?
Oh, yeah. People say you should work smart, don't work hard. I think that's stupid. You got to work smart, you have to work hard, and you have to work in the right direction. Ooh. You have to put them all together.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. And talk about some of the work that it takes for you guys to have Minority Mindset going, because I know it's not just you all by yourself. I know that there's way more work going on than just 2 videos a week. I know 2 videos a week is actually a lot of work. So talk about some of the things that it takes to have a business that's online.
Well, people ask me how many hours a day I work, and the simple answer is 25 hours a day. And I'm not exaggerating, because literally I'm working every single minute of the day I'm awake. If I'm not physically doing something, I'm thinking about something. Even when I'm sleeping, I have a lot of ideas when I'm sleeping. I keep a notepad next to my bed because I dream about my business. Literally, it's all I do. I have a lot of ideas when I sleep. And so when people say, how much does it really take? Well, I'm not going to lie. 18-hour days are common. I just released a book last Friday, and the book was supposed to release at 7:30 in the morning on Friday. Mm-hmm. And I had a designer from Cambodia helping me design the book. So his time zone is opposite to mine. And we were not done with the book until Friday at 5:01 a.m. And so I'm on the phone with him. I'm staying there up till 5:01 a.m. on Friday. And I have to wake up at 7:25 a.m., in an hour and 2 hours to make sure everything is fine. And that's, it's not common. I mean, it's common to, not sleep. You have to give up sleep to do this. I mean, that's a big thing that I say is we're all given 24 hours in the day.
Right.
And so what you do and what I do is going to determine what, I can get done in a day. If you're only working 8 hours a day and I'm working 16 hours a day, I just doubled what you can do. And then people say, oh, no, but you can't be as productive if you're not getting 8 hours of sleep. I say that's bull crap. That's complete bull crap. And, people say, oh, man, you know what? You're getting me heated because this stuff gets me mad. People say, that it's unhealthy not to sleep, to get 6 hours of sleep, to get 5 hours of sleep. My response is, do you want to know what's not healthy? Being fat, being lazy, sitting on your butt all day, watching TV, that's unhealthy. Don't tell me that me working towards my dreams, busting my butt, working for something bigger is unhealthy because I'm working for something. I mean, being an entrepreneur, has got a lot of glory. But Lori Grenier, one of the sharks from Shark Tank, said it the best. Entrepreneurs are the only people that are willing to work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40.
Yeah.
But I think that might be an understatement. I think it's more than 80, to be honest. I mean, 80 is a good week.
Like you said, I mean, if you're not doing anything physically, you're thinking. I mean, it's literally an ongoing process. I'm talking about on the weekends. Even if you build your business and scale it and you hire people, now you're figuring out how are we going to make this system better for these people working in this business. So it is literally a lifestyle. I just did an episode last week about this. It is a lifestyle. It's not a fly by night. Oh, I have money right now and it's going to stay here. No, like you have to every single day consistently throughout until you're dead.
And that's what we say about Minority Mindset is we're an entrepreneur lifestyle brand. It is a lifestyle. You can't be an entrepreneur 8 hours a day and expect the other, part of your day to just be a regular person. That doesn't work like that.
Exactly. I mean, I'm doing interviews at 8 p.m. or sometimes 9 p.m. just to have everything, in the pot and then sending it off to get it edited and then send it off to get it posted. So it's scheduled. Like this really is consistent and it takes a lot of work. And honestly, I think that it takes more work doing something online than doing something, brick and mortar. And that's just my opinion from my experience.
Potentially, because when we do things online, a lot of times we have to start alone, right? And so we have to do everything A to Z without seeing a single paycheck for a long time, you know?
Yeah.
So it's hard. People glorify it, and it's great, but it's not easy to get there. Only the minority of people will.
That's right. I think the main reason though is just because entrepreneurship is glorified and it's not always shiny. But the thing is that we just don't want to work for anybody else, and also we have the longer vision of what our life is going to be in 10 to 15 and 20 years from now when we're 45.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly right, man. I mean, that's why I say it's something, you have to be kind of born with the bug and you have to develop, the need in the meantime. Because if you could be a good entrepreneur, but if not willing to hustle, it's not going to work. But you can hustle without being an entrepreneur, right? There's a lot of people that work hard but can't think like an entrepreneur. So you have to have a little bit of both.
Absolutely. So what's your why?
Oh, man, I got a bunch. I have a bunch, It all starts kind of with my family, to be honest. I mean, my family literally went from nothing to nothing to nothing. And so what does that mean, right? Well, so my family, like I said, is from a small state in India called Punjab. Not without going into too much of like a history lecture, but Punjab used to be a lot bigger. India used to be a lot bigger. There was no India and Pakistan. So Pakistan is the country that borders India. Prior to 1947, it was all India. Between India and Pakistan is a state called Punjab, where my family's from. And in India was separated into India and Pakistan in 1947 when the British left India and the partition happened. And so my family, again, from Punjab, we were actually a little bit further on the western side of Punjab, which is current present-day Pakistan. And so what happened was everybody thought that, hey, Punjab is going to be, when this partition happens, Punjab is going to be bigger than what it ended up being. Right. And so my family, they stayed at home. And then what happened was they got this announcement that said, hey, you're on the wrong side of the country. If you don't move to the other side of the border, you're going to get killed. And so my family here has some land. They built everything here, right? The whole business is on this side, this part here. And now they have to leave and go to the other side of the country where they don't know anybody. They don't have any money. They're literally leaving every single thing they have, their job, their money, their home, their land, everything to go to the other side of the country. And they have no way of getting there. So now they have to run, literally run with their feet and run while people are trying to kill them. All they had with them are their swords because it was such a religious conflict at the time. It became like a war. Over hundreds of thousands of people were slaughtered. People in my family were slaughtered. My grandfather tells me stories, seeing his uncles getting killed right in front of him, getting his head cut in half, running to the other side of the border. Now they start with nothing, right? And my grandfather was able to build himself up to raise my dad and his brothers and sisters. And then my dad is like, hey, he's going to come to America for, a new, better life. Comes to America with $20. Like every other immigrant who comes to America, they all come with $20 for some reason. I don't know why it's 20, but everybody comes with 20. Comes here, doesn't know the language, has to start from scratch again. And so he does that. He got a manufacturing job. His first day on the job, his boss tells him, hey, you have this bracelet on your wrist. It's called a kada. It's a religious bracelet. And so you have to take that off if you want to work here. He's like, my family almost died for their religion, right? When that partition happened, I'm not going to take this off. Got fired on his first day on his job, and so, that was just like the path. And so then he had to build himself up. And then, I came in the picture, then just seeing how much my dad worked. My dad still works a lot. I mean, I think that's partially where I got it, just seeing my dad and, the hard work ethic that they have. He didn't get weekends off either. And so, seeing how hard he's worked, my mom, all that they've been through, I want to give them a much better life than, they're living better now, but I just want to give them everything they never had. Right. So that's my first thing is my family, being able to take care of them. And then it's just a big thing for me is taking care of the community, man. Part of our religion, we have this thing called seva. So I'm a Sikh, a part of the Sikh religion. That's why I keep a turban and beard. And so a big part of our religion is doing what's called seva. Seva means selfless service, taking care of a community. I live in Detroit. Detroit has gone through hell and back. They've faced economic problems, this poverty, bad schooling, drugs, you name it. And it's very close to my heart because Punjab, my native state, is the exact same way. They're struggling economically. There's so much drugs. Their education is bad. And so, you want to help out your community, but guess what? Me going there and doing it, yeah, it's good. But guess what? What does it take to feed people? Money. That's why we always say in Minority Mindset, it costs money to eat and it costs money to feed people. And so that's a huge driving factor, man. I drive through Detroit almost every day, and you see people on the streets begging for money, food, and it breaks my heart every single time. And so, to knowing that, hey, we're going to help take care of the community here. I want to take care of my community back there. It takes money. So, it's two different dynamics. But yeah, I would say those are the two biggest pushing factors.
What I like is you didn't say anything about you. It's not about you. And the fact that you understand that, and, a good portion of entrepreneurs understand that as well. People want to do stuff for their moms, their parents and stuff like that. That's what it's about, man. And it's just amazing to be able to hear that. And we all know the state of Detroit. It's not lavish. It's not Atlanta or Miami or anything. So that's really, really, really good. And one thing I like that you talk about is money. I like how you talk about money because so many people don't talk about money.
People are scared. Well, one, people don't know. And two, But what happens when you talk to somebody about money? They turn their shoulder, right? Oh, yeah, let's not talk about money. It's bad. At the end of the day, it costs money to have a roof over your head. It costs money to drive a car. It costs money to eat. It costs money to feed your family. It costs money to feed others.
Yeah. So
you need money to survive.
What would you say? And I know it's a lot, but like the best financial literate advice you could give, like really quick.
Simple. I got you right now. I have a rule of 5. I tell people to follow my rule of 5. If you can't, this is for luxuries. If this applies to anything that you want to buy that you don't need. And I'm not talking about a pair of Jordans because you don't need a pair of Jordans. If you can't buy 5 of them, you can't afford 1 of them.
Oh my goodness. I need to
say that again.
One more time for everybody.
Say that again. Listen to me closely. If you can't buy 5 of them, you can't afford 1 of them.
Man, and where did that come from?
Man, so I would do a lot of work in Detroit schools here. I guest speak in Detroit schools almost every week. And, a lot of the kids, they come from families that are struggling. And so these kids haven't really seen or studied financial literacy. And so what happens is these kids who are working, one, a lot of them don't have bank accounts. So they take physical checks so they can cash it. They get $100 in the check and then they go and blow it. And they have no savings. I talk about why banks aren't a good place to invest your money, but you need to have money. You can't have no money. And so, that was kind of where that whole thought process came in, because people assume that if I have $100 in my bank account, if I have $100 in cash, I can afford a $100 pair of shoes. No, it doesn't work like that.
Right. You can't buy 5 of them. You can't afford. I think that's man, you need to put that on a shirt if you don't have it already.
I don't got it on that shirt, but I got it in a few of my videos, man. It's living below your means, right? That's what entrepreneurs. There's 2 different things: entrepreneurship and financial literacy. And I'm kind of right in the middle. I love both of them. I love kind of bringing them 2 together. So that's where I try to tell people is how to blend the 2 together. Because the first thing you need to do is make money. Once you make money, you need to learn how to get your money working for you. Invest it.
Right, absolutely. So where's now that you kind of you've been able to get Minority Mindset built decently on YouTube and everything like that, what's the vision moving forward?
Man, so I got a few different visions. So I just released a book. So if you guys have not seen it yet, check it out. digitalrevolutionbook.com. If you buy the book by itself, it's $20. But if you watch my free video series, it's completely free. You can get the book for $7. And the reason I do that is because most people who buy books never read them. And so I want people to actually understand and read it. And so if you watch my video series, you're going to you're going to understand what it's like to build a business, what it takes. And this book is kind of like an addition to that. Plus, a portion of each book sale will be going to help fund an entrepreneurship program in Detroit for the students there. So we're trying to put that all together. But I don't even remember what your question was.
It was, what's the vision moving forward?
Oh, the vision moving forward. Oh, yeah, my bad.
That's part of it.
Yeah. So I just released that with this. And so, I'm talking with a few people on what I want to do, because I used to do a lot of real estate consulting, and recently I've been moving towards business consulting, and I'm currently in law school getting my law degree. So what I'm thinking is, what I'm looking at is growing this business consulting to help people. So, I got the channel here. People can learn how to grow their business for free. And then if you want more hands-on help, we can provide that. Obviously, it's not going to be cheap, but we can help people grow their businesses, because that's something I've been doing and I really enjoy doing it. I've also been considering investing in businesses, helping businesses grow in that sense. I've had a few offers, but, just trying to see what is the exact right path, because a lot of times I take on a lot of things. I'm trying not to do that yet. So I'm trying to go a little slow to figure out exactly what's next.
Yeah.
But so that's what's going on around. Got the book. So check that out right now first.
And you said digitalrevolution.com, right?
Digitalrevolutionbook.com.
Okay, got you. Okay.
If you watch any videos on the YouTube channel, you'll see, I'll link it to the free video series.
Okay, and we'll put that in the show notes as well.
Cool.
Okay, yeah. And so last 2 questions. Every show we have a quote of the day and a book recommendation of the day. So what is your quote of the day that you're going to leave everybody with along with the book?
Oh, man. Quote. of the day. Well,
To be
I have a
honest,
lot of.
I like the one what you said about that money, but I'm gonna let you have it.
All right. So, I mean, well, that was about money. Let me think of something, because I don't want to. Oh man, you putting me on the spot.
Hey man, that's what we got to do over here on the podcast. We got to have the real. We got to have the uncut stuff. You know what I mean?
I agree. You know what? I don't know if it's a quote. I think, this is real by Eric Thomas, who talked about the 24 hours, and that really got me into that. And for anybody who's an entrepreneur just trying to take hold of their life and trying to do something, I think the one thing that really stuck with me is, we're all given 24 hours a day. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they use the 24 hours. I think that's always stuck with me since the first time I heard him talk.
Right.
So, and that really resonated with me.
Got you. I think he resonates with a lot of people just because his style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about the book recommendation?
Book recommendation. Okay, so if you want to learn, I got a few. If you don't know anything about really financial literacy, the first book you need to read is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Another book which is great on money management is Entrepreneurship by Dave Ramsey.
That's a good one.
If you want to learn about real estate, I don't even remember what the book's called, but it's like commercial real estate investing. It's a white book. Okay. But yeah, if you want to learn about money, those are the two books you have to read. You have to read because they're opposite thought processes. Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about one type of way of managing money. Entrepreneurship is the complete opposite, and you need to understand both to see, how you can apply it to your life.
Got you. Well, look, Jaspreet, man, I just want to say I appreciate your time. It's been a good time, and I learned a lot. And how can people find you one more time?
You guys can follow us on YouTube at Minority Mindset, Instagram at Minority Mindset, Facebook at Minority Mindset, and follow me on Snapchat at M2 Jaspreet Singh. So yeah, stay tuned.
All that in there in the show notes as well. So awesome. If that's all you have, then that's all I have, and that's going to be the show. So I appreciate your time.
No, man, thank you so much, man. I had a good time. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me, man.
Me too. We'll talk to everybody on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Starts with a Vision podcast. Come get your vision clear at www.startswithavision.com. See you there.